Hi everyone, it's Darla from Crafty Yarn. Well, welcome. So today we're going to make this sweater. Alright, so let me tell you how this works, how it's constructed. Let me turn the camera down a little bit. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to make a chain that goes across whatever the biggest part of your body is. I usually go with my girls. So you make a chain that's going to go just a little bit more, a little bit past your underarm, unless you want your sweater tight. Then just put it, around the center under your underarm and make your chain to fit across like that. Okay, and then we're gonna crochet from the bottom of the front. We're gonna work our way up. We're gonna make a neck hole, and then we're going to work down on the back. So the body of the sweater is in one piece. Okay, so next thing is, let me show you the neckline. Now I made my neckline kind of wide, that's what I wanted. So I show you in the tutorial how to calculate your neckline. You can make it this wide, or you can make it just this much open, as long as your head's going to be able to go through that hole. And yeah, so I just chose to make mine this wide. You don't have to do it that way. Also, I chose to make the neckline in the front lower than in the back. Okay, so I show you how to do that in the tutorial as well, or you can have your neckline in the front up against your neck like that, and it'll be the same way in the back. You have some options here. Okay, so then after we've completed the body part of it, then we're going to crochet the sleeves directly on. Easy peasy. So your top, you will need to sew down the seams on the sides. Okay, so what I've done with mine, and you don't have to do this either, I left, okay, I'm going to turn this down again. I left a slit on both sides. It's a couple of inches. Now you don't have to do that. You can sew all the way down so that it's closed up on the sides. Okay, so I did not purposely color control this sweater. I mean, the yarn I tell you in the tutorial, the yarn that I used, and that you can use whatever yarn you want. But the way I got the sleeves to, line up with the stripes on the body, I had to dig out some extra of this dark gray, and so normally I would put one row of single crochets, but I put two, and then I went into just into the balls, just going along, with the sleeves, and it ended up so that the lines match up. So, oh yeah, I know. Sometimes I surprise myself. I think we all do every now and then, right? So this is the sweater, and I hope you enjoy this tutorial. You can use whatever yarn you want. I used an acrylic, but use whatever you want, and whatever size you want. All right, so let's get into the supplies, and then we'll make a sweater. All right, thanks everyone. Now let me talk about the yarn I used. Now this beautiful yarn is Loops and Threads, which is a Michaels brand, Joy DK. Now I don't know if they still make this. This is a lightweight 3 yarn. It's 100% anti-pilling acrylic. There are 85 grams, or 3 ounces, 212 meters, 232 yards in one of these. Oh, the colorway is called Pina Colada. So I have misplaced a yarn band. I only have 4 here, but I actually worked with 5. Now, what I had left was this much. What I had to do is I had to dig out the dark gray to go in the sleeves. So I dug that out from the last ball And so I do have a couple left there, but this is mostly the other colors in here. So this is more than one ball, technically. 101 grams, where here it's actually 85 grams, excuse me, in each one. So technically I probably did use just 4 of 232 yards for each one. So let me talk about the crochet hooks I used. Now, this yarn does recommend a 5mm, and I did start with a 5mm. I did the whole thing with a 5mm up until the 8th row of the sleeve. There's the 2 single crochet rows here. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8. I used the 5mm. Then for the next 8 rows, I went down to a 4.5. And then for the rest of the rows of the sleeves, I went down to a 4mm. Now what I was trying to do was just pull a sleeve in just a little bit by using a smaller hook. That really didn't work. But what it did was it actually made the shells a little smaller. Let's see, let me show you if I can, if it's gonna show a little bit. It's like hardly noticeable. To me, anyway. But that's okay. I love how the sleeves turned out. So you can just go ahead and use the recommended hook size for your yarn. And not go down these hook sizes just for the sleeves. But I just wanted to mention that to you. You can use any yarn you want to use. Any fiber. Any weight. Pretty much. Thinking, I don't know, maybe a 4-weight, maybe a little bulky, unless it's a thin 4-weight. But I mean, you can use a 1, 2, 3-weight. This is a 3-weight, and I love how it turned out. And, you know, it's great just to throw over a tank top or something if you're going out for the evening, if the evening has cooled off a little bit. And you will need some stitch markers, scissors, and of course, a darning needle to sew in your ends. And you custom make it to fit you, like I show in the very beginning of this video. All right, have fun. All right, we're gonna make a chain that's in multiples of 8 plus 5. So I made my chain 85. Okay, so that would be about a large, but you make your top the size you need based on how I showed you in the beginning how to fit it to yourself. Okay, so I'm going to chain 85 chains. Well, this will be a sample. There won't be that many, but that's what I did for my top. 85. Okay. Okay, for the first row, we're going to make single crochets. So we're going to skip that first chain and then go in that second chain with a single crochet. And we're going to make single crochets in every chain all the way across. So for my top, I had chained 85 and I ended up with 84 single crochets. That's because we're starting in the second chain from the hook. So that's why we have 84 single crochets. Okay, I'll see you at the end of this row. Okay, so the single crochet row is row 1. We're going to do another row, but of a different stitch. That'll be row 2. And then row 3 and 4 will be your repeat rows. Okay, so let's do this next row. We're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we always chain 5 at the end of our rows. Okay, now we're going to skip 3. We're going to start with this one where our chain 5's coming out of. We're going to skip that. So that's first 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th stitch we're going to make a single crochet. I'm going to chain 5. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip the next 3 stitches, go in the 4th with a single crochet, and this is our repeat for this row. Okay, chain 5, 5, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, go in the 4th with a single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3, go on the 4th with a single crochet. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you're at the end of your work, you'll have 4 stitches left. Skip the first 3, make a single crochet in that very last stitch. Okay, so that's what we have. Single crochets and chains. Okay, now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn our work. So in this chain 5 space right here, right in the space, we're going to put a single crochet in there. Okay, in this single crochet, we're going to put 5 double crochets. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so in the next chain 5 space, we'll put a single crochet. So we're going to be putting a single crochet before and after our shells. Okay, now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going to go past this next single crochet right here, go into that chain 5 space with a single crochet. And now we're going to go into that next single crochet with 5 double crochets. So that's your shell. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because we've made a shell, we're going to go into this next chain 5 space with a single crochet. That locks down our shell. Okay, then we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excuse me. And then we're going to go into this very last, if you're at the end of the row, very last chain 5 space. And we're going to put a single crochet in there. Alright, so that is the first row of the 2-row repeat. So let's do the second row of the 2-row repeat. Chain 5. Always chain 5 at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn your work. Now this row is going to be single crochets and chains. Okay, so we have this chain 5. We're going to put a single crochet into that chain 5 space. chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to go to the center of our shell. You can count it like this. We have a single crochet here. Count 1, 2, 3. Go in the 4th stitch, which is the center stitch of our shell. You can go in there with a single crochet. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we're going to go into this chain 5 space and put a single crochet. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go into that center stitch of your shell. So 1, 2, 3, the 4th one, put a single crochet. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go into the center of your chain 5 on the end in that space and put a single crochet. So that is row 2 of the 2-row repeat. Let me straighten this out. So I use this same stitch for the shell wrap. You could also make it a blanket. I made mine so big it could be an Afghan. Yeah, I'll link that tutorial below. It's the same stitch. Okay, so that was single crochet row. The next row was chains and single crochets. And then the 3rd row are these shells, and that's the 1st row of your 2-row repeat. And then the 2nd row of your 2-row repeat are the single crochets and chains. Okay, so this is the other side. This is the side I use for the front when my tail is to the left down at the bottom. It's up to you. It just depends on whichever side you like the best. All right, so let's repeat. So rows 3 and 4 are repeat rows. So let's repeat row 3 now to get you going. All right, chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn your work. Put a single crochet in the space of that chain 5. Okay, now we're going to make a shell. So we don't chain anything before it. We just go right from our single crochet into making the shell. We'll make a shell in that single crochet from the previous row. So we'll make our 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're going to make a single crochet in that next chain 5 space, because we make a single crochet before the shell and after the shell. Okay, so single crochet in that chain 5 space. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip over our next single crochet, go in the next chain 5 space and put a single crochet. Okay, then in the next single crochet, we'll put our shell, 5 double crochet shell. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what do you do after a shell? You put a single crochet in your next chain 5 space. then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put a single crochet into that last chain 5 space. Okay, so that was repeating row 2. No, sorry, row 3. Sorry about that. Row 3. That's row 3. The shell row is row 3. So let's just do the next row again, which is the second row of the 2-row repeat. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn your work. So this is the row with single crochets and chains only, no shells. Okay, put your hook through that first chain 5 space and make a single crochet. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go into the center stitch of your shell, or count the single crochet is 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th stitch. Put your single crochet, chain 5, single crochet in your next chain 5 space, chain 5, single crochet into that center double crochet of your shell, chain 5, and then single crochet in your last chain 5 space in your row. Okay, the chain 5, you chain 5 at the end of every row. Just getting you started again on this row. And then you single crochet in that first chain 5 space. And you put your shell stitch in that single crochet. And then you put your single crochet in this chain 5 space, because you need a single crochet on either side of your shell to lock it down. And then you'll chain 5 and you'll go past this next single crochet and then single crochet in the next chain 5. Yeah. So I will show you the next step after this. And there's the other side of it. I think it's so pretty, so pretty. Okay, I'll be right back. I have made 54 rows. Now you make yours the length you want. You can make it a crop top. You can make it really long. It's up to you. Okay, so 54 rows is what I made. And let's see, I counted the rows like this. I counted that single crochet row we did, and then that chain and single crochet row. So that's 2. And then I just counted my shells as 2 because there's this row and that next row. So that was 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, all the way up to 54. Okay, so now we're going to do the neckline. Okay, let's make the neckline. So I have finished on the chain and single crochet row. That's where I ended. And so I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to turn the work. Now this next row we're going to make is going to be a row of single crochets all the way across. And you'll have the same number of single crochets you had at the bottom. I told you mine was 84 single crochets, so you'll have whatever number you had at the bottom. Okay, so what we're going to do is move this a little. Okay, we're going to put a single crochet into that very first single crochet. Okay, now in this chain here, we're going to put 3 single crochets right into that chain, not around it, but right into the loops. So we need to just space them out, as best we can. So 3 single crochets. Okay, and then this next single crochet, we'll put a single crochet into it. That's what we're going to do all along. We're going to put 3 single crochets right into that chain. Remember, that's a chain 5, but we're fitting only 3 single crochets into it. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. Just space them out as evenly as possible. Put a single crochet in that single crochet. So keep doing that. I've made the single crochet all across the neck, except just have a few more stitches to do here. Okay, I have put the single crochet in that single crochet. So I have this chain. I just need to put 3 single crochets in that chain at the end, and I've counted, and this will make 84. That's what I need. You need whatever you need for your size. So I now have 84 single crochets along here, which is the same amount I started with in the beginning. Okay. So now, okay, I'm just going to stop there for a second and show you what the next step is. And we're going to make the opening for our head to go through. Okay, now the next step is to hold your top up to you and see how big you want your neckline. And then just mark it, you know, how wide you want it. Okay, so I'm just gonna go a little bit on the other side of this strap, because I want to make mine just a tiny bit wide. So just roughly mark it for now. We'll fix it in a minute. Yeah, so I'll put another one over here. Okay, let's go back to the table. Okay, so now I've looked at one side and saw where my stitch marker was, and I counted from my stitch marker all the way to the edge. This part's going to go over, like over your shoulder. And I counted 18 stitches. So I went to the other side and I just started counting all the way to 18 stitches. And I had to move this stitch marker onto the 18th stitch. So that means that I originally started off with 84 single crochets. So I've marked off 18 single crochets on either side. So 18 plus 18 is 36. And I originally started with 84. So 84 minus that 36 leaves me with 48. So that means I'm going to put a single crochet in each of these single crochets, including where I have my stitch marker. And then I'm going to make a chain of 48. And then I'm going to single crochet that chain into where the next stitch marker is, and then do single crochets all along here. All right, I'll show you. All right, so your number may be different. Remember, if your size is different. All right, so chain 1. Oops. Okay, now single crochet in that first single crochet on the end, oops, on the end here. Single crochet in every stitch up until end, including where you've put your stitch marker. Okay, be right back. Okay, I'm up to the stitch marker, so I'll remove it. And then I'll put single crochet in that spot. Okay, so my chain needs to be 48. So I'm going to make a chain of 48. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Be right back when that chain is done. All right, I've made my chain of 48. Yours will be whatever number it is. All right, so now we have this stitch marker. We're going to put a single, whoops, get on there properly. Put a single crochet right in where our next stitch marker is. And then we're going to make a stitch, a single crochet stitch in every stitch to the end of this row. Okay, I'll see you at the end of the row. Okay, so I have the same number of single crochets on each shoulder. Make sure you can fit your head through your chain. Okay, so now we're going to chain 1 and turn, and now I'm going to make a single crochet in every single crochet and in each chain of our chain all the way, and then every single, okay, where am I at? Oopsies, this way. Every single crochet all the way to the end, so that I'm going to have, again, 84 single crochets. Okay. Yeah, single crochet in that first single crochet. And then in every single crochet after, and then into each chain. My chain was 48, so I'll make 48 single crochets in that chain. Okay, I've put the single crochets on the shoulder part. Now I'm going to do the chain. Just going to fit them in. I need 48. Do whatever number you need, and just, I count them as I go. Yeah, and then I recount them when I'm done. Okay, so that was 1, 2, 3. Alrighty, I've counted, and I have my 84 single crochets all the way across the neckline right to the end. So now we're going to, I did the single crochet in the end, I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and turn my work. So now we're going to be working on the back of the sweater or top. So now we're going to skip excuse me, the first 3 stitches where chain 5 comes out. We're going to skip that one. So that's 1, 2, 3, go in the 4th with a single crochet. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, go in the next with single crochet. So this is what we're going to be repeating all the way across this first row. Okay, I'm at the end of that row. I chained 5. You will have 4 stitches left. Skip 3, put a single crochet in that last stitch. And we're just going to be repeating the 2-row repeat. Okay, chain 5. And turn your work. Single crochet in that first chain 5 space. Just refreshing your memory here and my own. So in this single crochet we'll put our shell, 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then single crochet in our next chain space. chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet in the next, chain 5, and then we do our shell in the next single crochet. And you keep going, just like what we were doing before. Okay, so let me show you what I did for the neckline. I want my neckline to be a little lower in the front than in the back. You can have yours, you know, even up against the front of your neck in the front and the back, but I want mine a little lower in the front. Okay, so for the front part of the top, I made, let's see, 55 rows. Now you make whatever you want for your length. The 55th row is that single crochet we did. That's to make your neckline, your neck opening. Okay, so I did 55 rows. Now for the back, 57 rows, so you need 2 extra rows for the back. The back, which is the one that's a couple of rows longer than the front. Just throw it over your head like that. You can pin at the bottom, you know, so your back and your front are even. I'm going to take some stitch markers and I'm going to mark under my arm, because we're going to be sewing down to the bottom, or leave a slit at the bottom like I think I mentioned if you want. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of space. I don't want it right tight under my arm. Okay, now I have both pins. Oh, I'll pull you up here. I have it pinned in the back and the front. So this is going to be my armhole. I counted, from my single crochet row, I counted the number of shells up until where my pin is on the front and the back. Of course, the back will be a different number, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so different number on the back and the front, because we made the back longer, right? Okay, so then I did the other side the same way. Okay, so I've turned my top inside out, and I'm just going to sew right along, putting you know, sewing right into the chain, not around it, all the way down to about a couple of inches from the bottom, because I'm leaving you know, a slit. You don't have to. You can sew all the way down or crochet all the way down, whatever you like to do. Okay. So I'll just go in where I have my stitch marker. And I'm just using the yarn that I was working with. Tie a knot. Take the stitch marker out now. Okay, and just try to grab a couple of loops on either side. And just sew. I don't know if this is called whip stitch or what it's called, but that's all I'm doing, all the way to where I want my slit to go, which was, I said I was leaving about 2 inches. Okay, I'm down near the end. I just put a stitch marker in there because I've already done the other side. I've already sewn it, so I just kind of figured out how big of a slit I made here, and just gonna make same size over on this side, of course. Make sure your ends at the bottom are even, your back and your front. Alright, so I'm just going to make a knot. And then I'm going to sew this end in right now since it's attached to a needle. Alright. Scissors, now I'm going to just go on to the next step. Okay, now I've turned my top right side out. This is the armhole. So we're going to be making single crochets. And I'm going to put a slip stitch on, or slip knot on my hook. Okay, so I'm going to start underneath the arm, and just going to go through a couple of loops. Okay, now we need to have multiples of 8 single crochets. So chain 1, okay, go into that first one with a single crochet. I'm going to go over my tail so I don't have to sew it in later. Okay, so now we're going to kind of even them out as much as we can. See, in these chains here, we'd be putting 2 single crochets in those, and then 1 in the other spots where you could probably see where only 1 will fit. Okay, so that was 1 single crochet. This is 2. I'm going to be, okay, here we could probably fit 2. So that's now 3. I'm going to be marking every 8th one to keep track of them. Okay, 4. Five. 6. 7. 8. Okay, now I'm going to mark it with a stitch marker. Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So that I don't have to recount them constantly. Okay, so for on the other sleeve, I made 64 single crochets. So whatever you have to make for your size of your sleeve, that's what you make. Multiples of 8. Okay, I have my 64 single crochets. You'll have whatever number you needed. I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet. Now I'm going to make another row of single crochets, and it's up to you if you want to make 2 rows. So chain 1, go into that first stitch with a single crochet in every stitch afterward. And I'll meet you at the end of this row. When you get to the end of your row, slip stitch into the first single crochet you made. Now for the rest of the sleeve, we're going to be turning our work for each row. Okay, so we're going to do this first row. After these 2 rows of single crochet, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work so that we're working from the inside now of our sleeve. Okay. So then we're going to make a single crochet in that first stitch. And then we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to skip 3. 1, 2, 3. Go in the next with a single crochet. And that's what we're going to be repeating. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 3. 1, 2, 3. Go in the next one with a single crochet. Okay, continue doing that, and I'll meet you at the end of this row. Okay, when you're at the end of the row, you're just going to slip stitch into your single crochet you made at the beginning. Just slip stitch right in there. And then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to turn our work. So now we're working on the outside, again, the right side. Okay, that chain 3 will count as a double crochet. We're going to go right back into our single crochet with 4 double crochets for a total of 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're just going to do what we did before for this design. We're going to single crochet around that first chain 5 space, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet around your next chain 5, and then in that next single crochet, make your shell, your 5 double crochets. And then your single crochet around your chain 5, single crochet around your next chain 5, and so on, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. Okay, now when you're at the end of this row, I've done my single crochet, I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3, oops, at the beginning of our shell. I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch. I kind of just did. Oh, no, here we go. Slip stitch into the next stitch, and then into the third one, which is the center of our shell. Okay, I'm going to chain 1. And I'm going to turn, so then we'll be working on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to go back in that space and put a single crochet. I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a single crochet around our next chain 5. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a single crochet into that center stitch of our shell. We count like this, 1, 2, 3, and then in the fourth, okay, chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet around our chain 5, and so on, just like we've been doing throughout the sweater, the body of the sweater. Okay, so that's how you do those 2 rows. So turn your work every time you're going to do a row. All right, so continue on. Okay, so what I did with mine, was I did, counting these 2 single crochet rows, so 2, 4, 6, 8, I did 8 rows with the 5mm hook, and then I did 8 rows with a 4.5, and then after that I changed to a 4mm. That's just because I was trying to pull the sleeve in just a little bit, but it didn't really pull it in. It did make the shelf smaller. So you can just go ahead and continue using whatever whatever hook you've been using throughout your sweater, if you like. Yeah, but I'm not doing any decreases for the sleeves. So other than using smaller hooks, I don't know if it really did much. It does with other stitches. But anyway, so yeah, continue on, and I'll meet you near the very end of your sleeve. I've made 44 rows for my sleeve, and I've ended up on the shell row. I've stopped there. And now I'm just going to go ahead and make shells all the way around this row just as a trim. So I've slip stitched to the center double crochet of that shell, chain 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to put a shell in here. So that counts as a double crochet. So this is the second double crochet. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this chain, I'm going to put a single crochet in there. And then I'm going to make a shell right around this chain. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets. I'm going to put a single crochet around that chain. Going to go to the next shell. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go in the center double crochet with a shell. I'm going to go over the chain and put single crochet around the chain. Make a double shell around that chain. Put a single crochet around the chain, and then go into the next shell with a shell, and continue doing this all the way around. And I will see you at the end of this row. Let me show you what it looks like. First, I'm going to put that yeah, like that. Okay, so this is how it's going to look if you want to do this border. Now at the end of this border, I've put my shell in and my single crochet around that chain. Now I'm just going to slip stitch into the first stitch of that next shell. I'm going to slip stitch over a total of 3 times. Chain 1 and then just cut my yarn and sew that in later. Okay, now we're going to the next step. Let me show you what it looks like. Okay, now this is the bottom of the sweater. We have the single crochet row where we started. Is this the front? No, that's the back. Where we started the design. And I think it looks fine the way it is. I'm going to leave mine, but you could do the shawl, same as you did the shawl around the sleeves if you like. For now, I'm going to leave mine the way it is. And then I finished off with a single crochet on the back as well. So I'm just going to leave those. Now I was taking a close look at my neckline here. I was thinking maybe add a single crochet row around it, but we already have one. So I think I'm just going to leave that the way it is too. I may change it in the future. I'm not sure, but this is how I'm leaving it now. I think it looks fine. So that would mean that we're done. We're done, except for sewing in the ends. Otherwise, it's done. Oh my goodness. All right, so I want to thank you all so much for, being a part of this channel. I love each and every one of you. You're so special and so important to me. And please subscribe and share this video out to your social media, to Pinterest would be great. I really need to set something up better on Pinterest. Yeah, like this video. It really does help us out if you give us a thumbs up. All right, thank you so much. And I hope you love your sweater as much as I love mine. All right, thank you. God bless. Bye for now.